Opinion episode Trace.
Number 3 in the house. Here we go.
Finally glad to be moving on from UFC Jan versus Jack.
The sleep fest of 2019.
Jan versus Jack sounds like an bout between two IKEA middle managers.
Or a gay porn, whichever one.
Honestly, probably would have been more fun to watch either
Gay
way
porn, yeah.
than what we did see. Because that was pretty bad.
Well, when Jacare had Jan against the wall, it was already kind of almost gay porn.
It was getting there. They're both pretty yoked. Jacare
Yeah.
is bald, and I feel like for some reason a lot of porn stars are bald.
And also, Jacare was on Queer Street for a lot of that. So,
Oof.
anyway.
Oof.
So that was super boring. I was really rooting for Jacare. I wanted him to be the first older middleweight to actually make a difference in light heavyweight.
He still did better than the other two.
Yeah, he still didn't get knocked out. So
He didn't make a difference, but
yeah.
he didn't make a difference in his CTE levels either, so that's a positive, I think.
That's a win in our book.
It's a win in our book. And, I called it. I'm pretty mythical. I think I did say Jacare would try to wall install, and
Yeah.
no, I didn't at all. But honestly, the whole event kind of sucked.
It did. The only thing that was great was the Charles Oliveira knockout,
Which
which
was awesome.
you can
That was
look
sick.
at our reaction if you haven't seen that.
That was awesome. That was really cool. Oliveira is still the can crusher. He's doing a really good job. I love him, and I think he needs to step up in competition.
That would be great.
I think a Felder matchup, a Felder
great.
rematch would be great too. But I feel like Felder and Barbosa probably need to run it back first.
I think Felder's just gonna take that win and never see Barbosa ever again.
Well, it's kind of appropriate because I thought Barbosa and Oliveira were the same person from like 2010 to 2014. So the fact that Felder's stuck between these two guys,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh wait, no, this is the Brazilian who knocks everybody out. This is the Brazilian who chokes everyone out.
Yeah.
But now Oliveira's knocking everybody out.
Yeah.
So thank God he got some tattoos so I can really tell them apart now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Felder, I kind of wonder if Felder, like, he gets hit with a blow and he's like, damn it, which one am I fighting? Can I take Barbosa down? Like, what am I supposed to do here, coach? What's the game plan?
Oh man.
Did you know Marlon Moraes grew up with Edson Barbosa?
Are you serious?
Yeah, they grew up together. They had the same Muay Thai coach in Brazil.
They have the same leg genetics and everything. They kick like.
Well, you remember we were looking at the different gyms and we saw Marlon Moraes was at AT&T?
Yeah.
ATT, damn it.
AT&T.
Yeah, Marlon Moraes.
And our sponsor, AT&T.
His service provider with Verizon was shit in Florida, so he switched to AT&T. No, but okay, so apparently we were right. He had just switched to AT&T, but they hadn't even actually like officially announced it. We just happened to check it right when AT&T changed the website.
Wow, that's wild.
So Marlon Moraes switched to AT&T to be with Edson Barbosa and the Muay Thai coach they grew up with. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
That is wild.
That was a tangent.
Yeah.
But regardless, the event sucked. Oliveira looks great. I want to see him against the top 10 to 15 and see if he can make that step up this time.
Jan is a tough motherfucker.
Jan
though.
is scary.
His feet were like this, and he was still fucking kicking.
Can you imagine if, like, I don't know why my head went here, but if there was a Cinderella-esque situation going on where Jan, I don't know if Jan's married or what, but if Jan's significant other needed to find Jan but hadn't no idea, like they had that condition where they can't remember faces and they could only do it by a shoe.
Yeah.
They would never recognize Jan because his feet were like tennis
They're
balls.
all fucked up.
They were all messed up. It looked like one of those point ballerinas.
Oh man, it was so bad.
Or like, the Chinese foot binding.
Yeah, that's why I could never kick.
Really?
I always, every time I kick somebody's shin, I'm like, I just think of Jan's foot now, and then also this Silva just like messing up his leg.
One of those is definitely way worse than the other. One of those is so much worse. But Jan is a tough dude, man.
Well, Jacare is too. He was.
Well, I'm just more so the fact that the mental toughness it takes to keep kicking when you can clearly look down and see like that your feet look like they're pregnant. And aliens are about to burst forth from them. They were they were bad, man.
Yeah.
I don't think we learned anything about either fighter, though.
I think
honestly.
we learned that Jacare's reach is going to be a huge problem for
That's
him.
true.
That's the only thing.
I think we learned Jan showed some adaptability, but I don't know. It wasn't super impressive on either one of them,
wasn't.
to be honest.
It wasn't.
But it was weird. It was a tough fight for both of them, but as fans, it was interesting because you could clearly see that it was rough for both guys.
Right.
But it wasn't that you think that narrative would make it engaging and interesting to the fans.
It doesn't
really
translate.
didn't translate at all this fight, which is too bad because it was a cool fight on paper, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the less we say about Jan versus Shaq, probably the better.
Probably the better.
That was pretty trash.
So Ben Askren, also, I was gonna say, had a similar strategy to Jacare in the Jan fight overall. But Ben Askren's retiring.
So Ben Askren just retired.
Yeah.
He announced that he needed hip replacement surgery, and he's gonna just pack it in.
Yeah, he's going to the geriatric ward, get his new hip.
What do you think about Ben Askren's run in the UFC?
I think it was pretty lackluster, obviously. I don't think, he was talking a lot of shit before he got in, and then he got hit.
To be fair, he kept talking shit.
Yeah, good for it. I do respect Ben Askren, to be honest with you. Nothing but respect from me. But I think it shows the step up in competition that the UFC has compared to any of the organizations out there.
Well, I think the big question is now not like, is Ben Askren championship caliber quality now? Because that's been answered. But the big question is, how good was Ben Askren, right?
Right.
How good was he when he was doing and performing really well in ONE FC, in Bellator?
What was the competition, though?
He does have a good win over Lima that has aged really well. Because, Douglas Lima's a killer, man. Like, he's really good. He beat Rory.
But one big win over Lima doesn't really
justify the hype that he was getting, where people thought he could beat GSP and whatnot.
Yep.
So now, but the question is, was he at one point championship caliber quality? Was he at one point
maybe
1 to 5? Was he at one point a top 10?
Well, I also think that if he was in the UFC, he wouldn't have had that tear, because so if you're like really good at your job, but then you move to, I don't know, some shitty state where everybody's like terrible at their job, and then you're mixed in with those people, you're gonna then become shit at your job.
You think so?
I think so. It's all about the competition.
So you think basically Ben never needed to like evolve or change his game because he wasn't really being challenged?
Well, you can see that because his striking is horrendous.
It's awful. It's really, really, really bad. If surprisingly though, it did look better against Maya, marginally. I thought. You didn't think so?
I thought it was okay.
I mean, that was the biggest jump in improvement in striking that we've ever seen Ben Askren make, I thought.
Fair enough.
Through any of his fights. So
but it was against Maya.
Maya's not good at striking, but he's also not bad.
Sure.
I think that Ben never would have been a top 5 welterweight at any point, and I think that he would have been 5 to 10, maybe 10 to 15, kind of in that realm of fighter that's sort of not a bad gatekeeper, but like a
decent one.
Yeah, like if you can beat me, you're a top 5 fighter. If not, then I will beat most everybody except for the elite of the division, just because I'm so specialized in one skill.
Yeah.
But I can be game plan. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like he did train with Tyron Woodley and whatnot, and I wonder if they've ever done like a hard sparring with striking, not just wrestling, because if he could stand up to Woodley's power, then I think he could be in the top 5.
Well, that was crazy because Ben did have a good chin, a really good chin. I mean, what Masvidal hit him with would have taken down a bull.
Anybody.
Yeah. But what Robbie hit him with would have taken down almost anybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like he has a couple things going for him. He has a big ass head, and he has essentially springs built into his skull, which absorb impact and protect him from head spikes.
Right, that makes sense.
That's the only reason he survived the Robbie Lawler. I don't know, man. I think Askren was overhyped because of his competition, and because he was so elite in one specific skill set. But I also think injuries like the hip thing have really hampered him now, but I don't think he would have been able to implement his game plan against truly elite caliber competition, because he didn't. My issue with him is he didn't have a good way of entering into wrestling range, which is what we saw with Masvidal. We even saw it with Maya to a degree, and Robbie. So guys who had competent striking and even competent game planning would have been able to, I think, really keep him. He never showed the ability to cut the cage well.
Right.
He never showed a Khabib-esque willingness to sort of like take shots, doggedly chain wrestle. Khabib's a good cage cutter, and Khabib does set up his takedowns with strikes relatively well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Ben really didn't have this strike, because I feel like if you're just an expert in wrestling, you can't finish fights as well. you know, as opposed to like Damian Maia, who's an expert in BJJ and choking people out. It's just like, and obviously, you know, Ben does have great ground and pound, and he's had success. But when you come to the UFC, you've got to have more than just wrestling.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the Crone-Gracie syndrome, right? You have to have a way to implement your specialization. Yes. Ben's issue was that, again, I think he would have been able to do it to like 6 and under guys at welterweight. But then when you look at the 1 through 5, I don't think he would have been able to like actually close that distance and get a hold of them because they're just too good. Like Colby, Usman. I mean, even Woodley,
I think he could have beat Colby and Usman.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. I don't. They're both of them have too good a striking, too good a wrestling, too good a cardio. And like Kamaru and Colby, they're just
an evolved version of Ben Askren.
So let's jump back. It's hard, right? Because I can't remember the exact rankings when GSP was rating supreme, but I don't think Ben would have anything for GSP between GSP's jab.
But everybody else probably. And that's what 2 generations ago.
Probably right because this would be like what George then
Woodley.
Well, I was gonna say even George, Hendricks, and Robbie, then Woodley maybe right. So we're jumping back quite a ways. I don't think he would have anything for Prime Robbie either, honestly, or Hendricks. I think both of those guys have too much power, and even the Robbie fight was weird.
It was really, really weird.
But I think Robbie's prime was better than Askren's prime. Yeah. And Robbie, I think it was just one of those things where Robbie got caught a little bit lower, but also that was such a fluky fight. I think it could have gone either way. And
he's 40 at this point. Yeah. You know, and his hip needs to be replaced and all that. But, you know, he didn't, like, bring it up in the fight. He didn't, like...
I respect that a lot.
So all respect to Ben Askren.
And he gave it a shot, and what more can you ask? Because he came to the UFC. He talked crap. He tried to back it up. I think he carried himself with integrity. And the whole idea of, like, oh, you talk crap, so now you deserve to have your shit pushed in. It's like, I don't know. I felt like...
He took a chance.
He took a chance, and it's not like he really talked crap in a bad way. He was just like, I think I can win.
Do you think it was worse off for his career and his legacy to go to the UFC?
I think it is bad as far as his legacy goes because people would have always wondered what if, and I think now we have a lot of those questions answered.
Yeah.
But I do think he was a name that only like hardcore MMA fans knew, and now I think that
everybody knows him.
Well, it's hardcore MMA fans and like hardcore wrestling fans. Now I feel everybody knows who Ben Askren is.
But is it better to be known as a killer by the hardcore or a clown by everybody else?
It depends on what your goal is, right? Like if Ben wants to get an analyst position or something, I think he could now. He's popular enough. I think he would actually do really well as an analyst.
Yeah. So
that's something that he could do if he wanted. Ben's set for life too. He owns this crazy popular wrestling camp that just brings in tons, buttloads of money.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's what his goal is. If his goal was just cement his legacy. But I think he's in a better place because now he won't have those questions either.
Right.
At least not the same ones. He might be wondering, like, well, what if I had done this 6 years sooner?
That's probably what he's thinking, yeah.
What if I'd gotten down and sucked Dana White's dick? The big tomato head sooner, right?
Yeah.
But
Uncle Fester.
Oh, man. How happy is Dana with how everything turned out?
Probably ecstatic,
Well, he built George. The Robbie fight was really exciting and built a lot of, like, buzz. I don't think he cares about Maia, though.
No.
But that was a good fight. That was actually a really fun fight.
Yeah, I thought Ben was going to win until he got choked out.
I'd say Ben had the weirdest run of any UFC fighter in history.
Yeah, it was wild.
But I think that's sort of... Yeah, Ben's legacy is that, which is kind of too bad.
Yeah. So what do we have for this week? For UFC?
Oh, coming up this weekend? We have a pretty good fight card. I don't know. It's marginally better than last week.
So we have Overeem going to get knocked out by
Rosenstreich.
Yeah, I think he's a really good prospect. I think he's going to knock out Overeem though.
It's so funny when we talk about heavyweights because Rosenstreich I think is like 40.
Is he really?
He's 31. Never mind. It's just funny with heavyweight because we're like, oh, they're a prospect, and he's got
I thought he's a kickboxer, right?
85 kickboxing fights. Yeah. 76 wins. So. It's a pretty damn good record.
Yeah, so he's a good striker.
And he's 9-0 as an MMA fighter, which is not bad at all. Heavyweights get pushed so fast, man. It's ridiculous. Like, he's fighting Alistair Overeem in his 9th fight. Alistair has,
100 fights.
Something like that. Something
I
ludicrous.
think maybe he has like 40 or 50.
No, he has more than that.
Really?
Oh, for sure. He beat Junior Albini. He beat Andre Arlovsky. I don't know. I feel like this might just be... It's heavyweight, so it's a coin flip.
Oh, no. Overeem's getting knocked out.
Oh, bro, it's heavyweight.
Overeem's getting knocked out.
It's heavyweight, though.
I don't know.
It's basically the Russian roulette of the MMA world. As soon as
Just
you drop...
rolling dice.
Yeah, as soon as you drop past, like, the top 3 guys, it's just, okay, well, which gigantic man is going to hit the other gigantic man first? It's almost like fencing with much more extreme consequences. Legitimately, though.
Rosenstrike is a lot shorter than... he's 6'2".
Yeah, he's 6'2", 78-inch reach.
Right.
I don't have Alistair's written down.
I think Alistair's 6'4".
6'4", 80-inch reach. So not too much of a difference with the reach.
Yeah.
Also, Alistair has had 63 MMA fights, which is nuts.
Not good for his chin.
Not good for his chin. And he hasn't really beat anybody recently. He beat Olenek, Pavlovich, lost to Blades, lost to Ngannou.
Yep.
Beat Werdum, beat Hunt, beat Arlovsky, lost to Stipe. Not really anybody. Not really. He hasn't beat any of the good guys at heavyweight now. Not now as they stand. And
yeah, he's a nice gatekeeper, but I think his chin is just way too deteriorated.
Has Rosenstruck's chin ever been tested in MMA?
I don't think so.
So that's a big question too, because he does have a lot of kickboxing fights. Mm-hmm. So he's got a lot of wear and tear on the body already. I don't know, man. It's heavyweight. I don't like making heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Alistair kind of takes him down and then gets him some kind of submission, I think I see him winning. But I don't think I see him winning via like knockout or anything.
Alistair doesn't really wrestle though, so
yeah, that's true. So
I don't. Yeah.
So I see Overeem losing.
Is there anything else on the card that you find interesting? I think I don't know, man.
Steven Struve.
I just feel like Overeem and heavyweight. It's kind of better now, but there were so many years where there would be as exciting a heavyweight prospect,
right?
Who they would fight the first name, like Junior Dos Santos, right. Alistair Overeem, and they'd get beat down, and it was so depressing. I was like, I don't want to watch pensioners like beating down the young guns at heavyweight forever,
right? And
then it would suck because the UFC would push like younger heavyweights too fast, too far, too soon, and then they would just get knocked out, Tai Suivasa syndrome, right? Yeah. It's like, hey man, maybe we should have had some more intelligent matchmaking, and not put a guy that's won 4 fights against someone who's had 68 fights.
Yeah.
But is there
other than Steven Struve? I mean,
Struve's always a good out. I hate Struve. Struve pisses me off so much. He has the best natural gifts in the heavyweight division.
And he doesn't use them.
He occasionally uses them.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it worse. Is sometimes he does use them.
Yeah. When has Ben Rothwell?
Rothwell popped, remember?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Rothwell popped a while ago, so that's why he hasn't been fighting.
Gotcha.
Still has the best post-fight interview ever. He beat Andre Arlovsky in 2019, actually.
Wow.
Oh, and he beat Ivanov in 2019. So this will be his 3rd fight in 2019.
Gotcha.
That's wild.
That is wild.
That's actually crazy. Okay.
Well, didn't Andre win against him?
No.
And then Shogun won against him?
No, Ben beat Arlovsky and Ivanov.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then he lost to Junior Dos Santos in 2016, and that's when he popped. That's why he was gone for like 3 years.
All right.
But, honestly, not really too much on this fight card that is even important for division. Cynthia Calvo, that's an important fight. You hate her, right?
Yeah.
Marina Rodriguez, Cynthia Calvillo. That one's kind of important, but it's also not that highly rated. It's number 9 and number 10 in the strawweight division, which is kind of a thin division as is. Aspen Ladd's comeback fight, she was so bad last time. I've never seen a fighter look so much worse at a weight cut when they could cut more body fat clearly.
I love her last name though.
Ladd.
Ladd.
She seems like she should be British or something.
Yeah.
I just don't get it, man. She is like could clearly cut more body weight.
Right.
Clearly, it's not even close, and she.
And then Mickey Gall is gonna get.
Who still doesn't have an opponent announced.
Oh really? Oh, because
Condon dropped out.
Yeah, that's
These
right.
UFC events have been super weak, man.
Yeah, not
So
yeah.
bad.
It's been a bummer because it's a turn of the year, and
I feel like everybody's kind of had their shot, and now everyone's sort of injured, and the UFC's waiting to get the matchmaking going, and especially, I guess, what's the most heat right now? There's 170 is kind of great with Masvidal, which we can talk about more in a little bit, and but they need to wait for Covington and Usman and that situation to get sorted out,
right?
So they know what to do with George. Then obviously there's like Khabib, who fought and he's taking a break now, understandably. Then there's always McGregor, but he's also
all over the place. They say he's going to fight
in January,
right? Yeah, which is coming up.
I'm trying to think too. Like, there's not actually that many UFC fights that have been announced that I'm super pumped about. Yeah. Izzy Romero could be really cool, but that one's not official yet.
Yeah. But I'm still excited for that.
Oh, I'm super excited for that, but it just makes it difficult. Like, I feel that they're and even Jones Reyes. Like, I really like Reyes.
It's not official.
Right, that one's not official. So I feel like there's not really any big
news coming up.
Big events that are coming up. So hopefully we'll get some big announcements.
But it's interesting because Masvidal just got called out by Nick Diaz. Officially.
I don't think Masvidal wants any of that, man.
Really?
Masvidal does not want any of Nick Diaz.
So the only thing that I think will impede the fight is Conor McGregor. Because they've also been talking shit to each other. So that's always looming. But Conor McGregor's way better than Nick Diaz. Any of the Diaz's brothers. That's what I'm gonna say.
All I'm gonna say is Nick Diaz runs triathlons like I take poops. He runs like 4 a day.
Yeah.
His cardio is ludicrous. His chin's ludicrous. He smoked so much weed, it's impossible to detach him from his consciousness.
He has so much scar tissue.
No, Nick has it removed.
Oh, does he?
So that's the surgery. Nick had the scar tissue removed.
Okay.
And that was the only reason that George won against Nate Diaz was because of the scar tissue. Nick has had the surgery. Nick has removed the only thing that George had going for him. Huh? So Nick Diaz, if this fight is made, which I hope it is because it's got a great storyline behind it.
Yeah, it does.
Who doesn't love the older brother, the better fighter, the man without the weakness, the man who's literally undergone surgery, had his face cut wide ass open in order to remove his one kryptonite, besides pussy fighters who won't actually fight him.
What was his last win, though?
I don't know. I mean, man.
I think
actually, you know what? I do know. His last one was an absolute legend.
Yeah.
A legend of the sport, BJ Penn.
Wow.
Multiple division champion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Nick Diaz beat him.
That's crazy.
And dominated the fight.
What a fighter.
Because Nick Diaz is
in 2011. That's crazy. So he hasn't fought.
I mean, he basically beat Condit if Condit didn't run the whole time. George also literally ran the whole time. And Anderson Silva popped. So, like, I think Nick is actually arguably riding a 4-fight undefeated winning streak against some of the best fighters of all time and Carlos Condit.
Listen, George Masvidal is younger, fresher. He's on a tear right now. He fucking smoked Nate Diaz. And Nick hasn't fought in years, in literal years. There's got to be ring rust. There's got to be... I don't care if people say that ring rust is a bullshit, but it's not bullshit.
For Nick Diaz, it is bullshit because he is a born fighter. He fights, and he grew up fighting on...
That's like saying Kimbo Slice could knock out fucking... Oh, my goodness. Fucking DC or someone
Nick
like that.
Diaz doesn't have ring rust. He stays in shape by continuing to do strenuous cardio workouts by partying in Vegas until the early hours of the night. Mm-hmm. This takes a lot of work.
It does.
This move takes a lot of work. You know, these moves take a lot of work.
That move takes a lot of work too.
And I think, honestly though, in all seriousness, Nick has had the scar tissue surgery. He puts on a different kind of pace.
How old is Nick?
Nate does.
40?
How old is Nick? Nick is 36.
36.
About
right.
prime.
Prime. Well, end of prime fighting years.
I feel like that's peaking. That's right when, you know, the brain's at its best. He's got experience.
I'm not a fan of the Diaz brothers in general. I think they're overhyped. I think they have this dumbass gangster 269 aura about
209,
them.
first of all.
And I'm from California. I don't give a fuck about Stockton. Fuck Stockton. And I don't know. I just think they're overrated. I think they're tough. They have good chin. They have good boxing. Great, amazing cardio. But other than that, they're nothing special.
You just said, other than that, they're nothing special. But
No,
you
well,
literally
no.
listed the things that make them special.
But even their boxing is not elite. It's not elite. It's good for the UFC.
Well, their boxing, it depends on what you mean by boxing. If it's the ability to have volume, the ability to put pressure on fighters, the footwork to do that, the boxing to take and roll with punches so that their pressure and the force is being disseminated throughout their body instead of causing a concussive blow, then they're sure, yeah. If we're not talking about those things, their boxing's bad.
They're not innovators of the sport. Only besides the social media aspect and the fans that they have. Other than their fighting, it's very much it's a simple game plan that I think Jorge can he's just so even Jorge's boxing is way better than both of the Diaz brothers. And that's fucking Nate was getting lit up, man. He was getting fucked up.
That's because he couldn't see.
That's not
scar
true.
tissue.
That's not true. It was like watching somebody in fast motion against somebody in slow motion.
That's because, okay, here's the thing. Nate's made his money. Nate is...
Nick hasn't made his money.
Nick hasn't made his money. What money has Nick made?
Drug money, probably.
Now, Nick is hungry. Nick is motivated. He needs to come in and defend his younger brother. You know they have a bond that's insane.
Yeah.
Nick feels guilty because he's the one who got Nate into fighting.
Yeah.
So Nick is the one who got into it first, and Nate came along. Now George, it's like George's Squirtle. Now he's fighting Blastoise.
See, the thing is, I don't think the fight's going to get made. I think that Masvidal is going to...
Yeah, because Masvidal's scared. If he knows what's right for him,
No.
He's gonna avoid Nick Diaz.
He'll
Funny thing
fuck
is,
up
he
Nate.
can't even run from Nick Diaz because Nick has better cardio.
He'll fuck Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz on the same fucking night. That's how fucking confident.
It's gonna be a Diaz sandwich 3-way.
Yeah. Oh man.
Nick Diaz all day, cardio too good, pressure boxing too good. Look what happened when he fought Stephen Thompson. Nate's not even a real welterweight.
Okay.
Nick Diaz.
When has somebody with good cardio and good boxing given Masvidal problems?
Stephen Thompson has good cardio and good striking.
Good boxing is
good striking.
I'm saying the
Karate
striking
is basically just Japanese boxing.
The striking of Stephen Thompson versus Nick Diaz is they're from fucking different planets.
I see a lot of technical similarities.
My fucking ass.
Here's one technical similarity. They both use their fists to hit their opponent.
Nick has the same problem of not checking kicks either, right? Right?
I mean, kicks are for losers. So why would
like Stephen Thompson, right?
and like Anderson Silva and maybe Carlos Condit, but that's arguable. I think the fight is going to be made. I think the storyline's too good. I think the fact that Nick Diaz actually wants to come back and fight.
Who's Conor going to fight in January, though?
Cowboy, I think.
Cowboy?
Yeah.
I don't want to see Cowboy get knocked out again.
Why not?
Poor guy. I don't know.
But think about it. If Cowboy is going to get knocked out again, at least he'll be rich from the Conor fight.
That's true.
And I would actually like to see where McGregor stands. And I think that giving Cowboy versus McGregor is a really good aspect of like, oh, is Conor a top 5 to 10 fighter?
Right.
And that is an important question we need to answer.
It is. And it will be interesting to see what Jorge says. My man, my Cuban missile, Jorge, the other Cuban missile. No, man. That would be an exciting fight. And like you said, it is a good storyline. I just think that Nick's going to get fucked up. Or he's going to pull out of the fight.
Even if that did happen, though, that just builds Masvidal more. Because I think Nick has this aura around him with fans now. I think his last fight has been long enough ago that
people forgot how bad he was.
He's got kind of a mythical fighter energy around him right now.
Yeah.
No, in all legitimacy. And his highlight reel is really crazy.
Yeah.
Like the man laid down in front of Anderson Silva and yelled "Paint me, Jack" or something. So I think the fight sells itself.
No, I agree with you there.
I think the UFC and George would be stupid because like
who's a bigger draw though, Conor or Nick? Because I don't think
George is getting that fight right now. I don't think that's happening.
This is what, because I feel like George is chasing the Conor fight. I know he says like, "Oh, this little bitch isn't ready for me or anything like that. He's gonna run." But
that is chasing the fight.
He is chasing the fight. I think that's the fight that he wants to make. I don't think he wants to revisit a Diaz after. I don't think he's gonna have another rematch with Nate. I don't think
he'll rematch Nate either.
And I think that I don't see it happening till maybe like after Jorge's next fight.
I think they'll do it now because I think right now is when the narrative.
There's a lot
is
of
the best.
hype and stuff.
Yeah, it would have a lot of hype. I just don't think there's a better time to do it. And like we were talking about, there's really been no big events. And I'd say this would be like an A- level UFC event right now.
But it's like we just did the BMF belt.
Right, but then who better to fight for the BMF belt than the original BMF? Nick Diaz.
BMS. Listen, everybody who's a champion,
in the
UFC is a BMF.
No, it's about attitude and how you live your life.
Oh my fucking goodness.
And
drama.
Yeah, no, I mean that it's basically the drama belt. It's like who's the most dramatic belt.
Yeah.
I think Nick Diaz fighting for the BMF belt is a great narrative. I think it sells itself.
Oh yeah, I agree.
People love the older brother, younger. Like that's a very primal thing that people can get behind. That would appeal to casuals. Casuals love Nick Diaz. But
you know who they love more? Conor McGregor.
That's true, but George isn't going to get that fight right now. They're going to have Conor fight Cowboy.
Well, okay, so why wouldn't he get that fight? They're literally the two biggest stars in the UFC.
That's
right
why.
now.
So right now, UFC has been showing that they're being a little more conservative, protecting their stars right now.
Well, wait. Here's another angle. Okay, so the Diaz brothers are not controllable. What if Nick, by the grace of God, beats Jorge?
By my technical analysis, I think we've come to figure out that is the most likely outcome.
No,
but
it's not. But
Nick wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a BMF.
It's over.
Who cares?
But they're arguably Conor versus Jorge would pull in a lot more money than Nick versus Masvidal.
But if by some weird machinations of God and Cuban communist intervention poisoning Nick Diaz again, which is what happened against George allegedly, and Masvidal wins, then he just has even more momentum. And then if Conor beat Cowboy, then that would be a crazy fight.
It would be.
But I think the problem right now is I don't think Conor wants the George fight.
I also don't think he's very good at 170.
I think it would be dumb to fight at 170.
Yeah.
He's a
155er.
He's a 155er. I think he really wants. I think Conor's main motivator right now is trying to get the Khabib rematch, and beating George doesn't do anything to get him that. He needs to prove at lightweight. He needs to fight that. If he somehow got a fight and then fought Khabib, then I could see him fighting George.
So Cowboy can go back down to 155. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's the fight they're gonna do.
But that doesn't really do anything for Conor, though.
It establishes him. It gets.
He's not beating anybody in the top 5.
Cowboy's ranked pretty high.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't think he's 5. I think Cowboy's 6.
Is he?
Yeah, I believe so.
That would be good. But it's kind of not Cowboy's division anymore.
Right, but the thing is, Conor needs to prove. There's a couple things. For casual interest, Conor needs a highlight.
Yes.
Conor needs a win or a highlight because you can only sell the guy who's lost 3 times in a row, right?
For so long. Yeah.
If Conor loses his next fight, casuals are going to start dipping.
Yeah.
That's just how combat sports work. So Cowboy is ranked number 5. So it is a top 5 win. It's, I'd say, by far the most winnable fight in the top 5. So I think Conor will either fight Cerrone, Gaethje, or Poirier.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because that's what he needs to do in order to try to get the Khabib rematch.
All right. But Nick is still going to get fucked up by Jorge. That's all I got to say about that.
When the fight gets made, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I'm just saying, George was so glad that he got Diaz out of there with the scar tissue.
Because he was not glad,
Diaz was going to come back in 4-5.
4-5, he had already lost 1, 2, 3.
That was his game plan, though. He was dragging George into deep waters, just like he does in his triathlons.
Of course.
And now Nick Diaz is going to come in, arguably the even more accomplished triathlete, and he's going to drag George into those deep waters.
Does Nate even do triathlons?
Does Nick?
No, Nate.
Nate?
I know Nick does.
Yeah, they both do.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that Nate got owned really, really, really hard, and I think that I do think Nick's a little better than Nate, but marginally. I think it'll be a more entertaining fight.
Are those the seeds of doubt beginning to
No,
sprout in
no,
your
they're
brain?
not. No, because I think that Jorge's just a way better fighter, and he's younger.
Mr. Split Decision.
No,
Until about a year ago.
yeah. Well, now he found God through baptism, and he's knocking everybody up. Anyway, so the fight that I'm really, really excited about,
Which should be a lot of fun. And we would be watching it the whole time.
Ooh.
Except boxing undercards are atrocious. So we're going to watch the Alistair Overeem card until they start Wilder. Wilder Ortiz 2.
Here we go. Another Cuban
2.
to talk about. Ooh, so good. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Who you got?
I
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Wilder all day, baby.
Yeah.
Wilder all day.
Here's the thing.
Too much power. He already won the first fight. He didn't just win it. He knocked Ortiz out.
I understand. I understand that. I understand how a casual is able to come to that conclusion. But see, there's nobody that has fought adversity more than King Kong Luis Ortiz. Grew up in Cuba.
Whoa.
He made it to the Olympics and all that shit. He's fucking amazing at boxing. That's number one. I don't know about Wilder. I mean, Wilder has a great reach, but that's about it. And his power's okay. Wilder's power's all right. 95% KO record. It's okay. It could be better.
It's only 40 fights, though.
It's
not
only
enough of a sample
Yeah,
size.
exactly. We would, and most of those were like in clubs in like New York and like just a rat ass.
Oh, you're saying he's got a fight record like the Gracie.
Like Nick Diaz. Oh no.
Oh, who's his name? Not Hoyce, his brother.
Kron?
No, that's his that's his nephew. Kron's dad. What's his damn name?
I don't know.
Never mind.
But yes, he's got a record like that. And I think that Luis has more of a veteran experience. He has a fantastic amateur record.
Yeah, Wilder's pretty. He's not experienced with 40 professional fights.
No.
And a bronze medal at the same damn Olympics.
I don't think so. I think
Not the same Olympics, but I mean like the same thing. The Olympics.
I think that Luis is going to rally. I think he's going to knock out finish Wilder this time around. That's what I think.
Well, let me say a number to you. 83. 83 is an incredibly significant number in this matchup. Another significant
Luis
number.
Is 83 years old because he's not.
Hey, you never know with Cubans and birth certificates, man. Like I've seen some baseball players, but 83. Now another significant number. 78. 5 inches. 5 inches.
But he handled that so well in the first match.
If I handled well, you mean he got knocked down, jabbed up, and then knocked out?
And then what about in what was it 7 and 8? Luis was fucking him up. Was fucking up Wilder. Wilder was on the ropes. He was on Queer Street.
That just shows Wilder can't be put out by Ortiz's best shots. Do you think that was Ortiz's best shot?
No.
In that round? You don't think that was his best shot?
He was off balance when he shot him. Yes, he was. He was like fumbling.
Which one? Because he hit him with a few. Were they all off balance? Or can Wilder just eat Ortiz's shots?
But the chin is a
Like
deteriorating
some
thing.
type of Cuban cuisine. I know nothing about Cuban cuisine. I really wanted to drop in, like, if Ortiz was from Italy, I would have been like his Italian meatballs or something.
I just think that and also Ortiz's back was completely shot. He wasn't even able to run. He wasn't even able to.
He is lighter.
He is much lighter. So he's obviously been running.
That means he's easier to knock down. Because Wilder can literally probably punch him across the whole stadium now.
I think he's going to be a lot nimbler. I think he's going to be able to catch punches more efficiently. He had a lot of body fat on him during the first Wilder fight.
Shows a lack of discipline, I think.
Or that his back was fucked up. Either one, and he still fought that fight. Also, Ortiz is known to have steroids, and so that's a favor in my camp as well. So I don't know. I'm confident in Luis.
All I'm saying is there's a 6'7" Arkansas whip that's coming straight at
He's
Ortiz.
from Alabama.
Alabama whip.
Yeah, why don't you know where your fighter is from first?
Because Alabama and Arkansas are essentially a rounding error away from each other in my mind. If you people in both
Yeah,
states,
they're the states with the A name.
People in both states definitely choose the wrong state whenever they're doing like bank forms or entering the addresses and stuff.
Yeah.
Shipping addresses.
The AL and the
Amazon
AK.
probably hates them because they just deliver to the wrong place all the time. It's a nightmare. Regardless, no, actually, you know what? Wilder's reach is so big that the whip's gonna start in Arkansas and come through Alabama and then smash Cuba right in the face. Because literally, he's got an 83-inch reach. He showed that Ortiz cannot hand fight with him effectively in the fight.
What?
Wilder was jabbing over Ortiz's hand fighting consistently.
Okay, so Ortiz was able to cut off the ring more effectively than Wilder. So that's number one.
That's because Wilder doesn't need to cut off the ring. He can punch you from across it.
But he's shown a really good understanding of how to cut the ring off, and he had Wilder several times during that fight, and I think it's just gonna. And his back was hurt, so he has no excuses now. If he gets knocked out, well, I guess Wilder's the better champion. But
all I'm gonna say is,
and he's gonna have his little girl watching for the second time in a row. Do you think he's gonna let his little girl see him get knocked out twice
by the same man?
By the same man? No way. No way.
I think it's more likely to happen this time.
No.
He's only older. Wilder's only better. The only thing that saved Tyson Fury from essentially decapitation was probably some cleric in that arena who had bet money on him and did a resurrection spell. Because Wilder about took his head off in that fight.
That's true.
Wilder only needs 2 seconds. Ortiz needs to be perfect the whole fight.
That's not true. Have you seen Ortiz's records? He has TKO'd, knocked people out, like almost
Wilder
the whole
took his
entire
best shots.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
I mean, in the first fight, Ortiz did hit him with the kitchen sink.
And Wilder was on Queer Street.
And he didn't go down. He did go down.
He did
but
go
he
down.
didn't
He
stay
got
down.
down.
He didn't
got
stay
knocked
down.
with the
He
fucking
didn't stay down.
I think this match is a flip of a coin, and I think 51% is going to go to Ortiz. That's all I got to say.
I think it's more like an 8-sided dice, and Ortiz has one side.
I don't think so. I definitely
You better
don't
hope
think
he rolls
so.
an 8, man.
Oh, man, no. Ortiz is the more seasoned and somebody that's able to come from adversity.
Think about it this way. Wilder has not a lot of experience against southpaws. He's fought probably the best southpaw at heavyweight.
Arguably, yeah.
Now he's going to come into this fight with that experience. You know, he and his coaches are going to have talked about the fight,
This
about
is
the
Deontay's
problems.
first rematch, though.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting because you don't know if he's able to then game plan more effectively the second time around.
But here what I do know. Here is what I do know. Here what I do know. Here is what I do know. There's nothing that puts the fear of God in a man like being knocked the fuck out by Deontay Wilder. I do not trust that Luis Ortiz is going to not flinch at his strikes, that he's not going to back down more, because he already knows that Wilder can finish him. He already knows Wilder can knock him down. He already knows how those punches feel.
I think for an average person, not raised in communist Cuba, that was hand selected from the age of 3 and genetically modified to be the best boxer there could ever be.
Well, he's like maybe the 8th best boxer right now.
Well, okay. Oh, in heavyweight?
Yeah.
No, okay. So there's Andy Ruiz,
Number one, of course.
He has the most belts. There's Wilder, there's AJ, and there's Tyson Fury. Who else comes next after that?
Popkin, or whatever his name is. There's a couple guys who pop for steroids. There's White.
Dillian White?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Ortiz is better than Dillian White.
I think Ortiz is better than Dillian
I
White.
think he's better
Who
than
has
Dillian
Ortiz
White.
beat?
A lot of boxers. He's been in a lot of boxers.
Who has Ortiz beat that is good?
But here's the thing, that they're so scared.
You are basically, you do
don't.
not believe in yourself so much. You are running yourself off camera.
All right.
My man.
He's beaten
Such
Christian
illustrious
Hammer.
names. I'm surprised most
Mike
of these guys...
Scott. Have you heard of Malaki Scott? Look at all these names.
Man, look at
and
all
most
these
of them
names.
have links. Could you imagine that? Listen,
there is a sizable proportion that do have links. That is saying something. That is probably saying something.
So here's the thing. I think that Ortiz has enough of an argument in the first fight to make a educated guess that he'll win this one.
Yeah, he had a moment of good activity.
He had two.
That got it.
He had
two moments.
He had
two moments.
2 whole rounds. 2 whole rounds, and the rest was, I would say,
out of
neutral.
11.
Pretty neutral. No, it was
the knockdown was neutral.
It was a 10 round
Deontay's
fight.
night.
It was a 10 round
It finished
fight.
in the 11th.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Let's look it up.
No.
This is now.
I think it was the 10th round. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh
about.
yeah, because you for sure. That's what it was.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, that was.
I wasn't wrong because I was actually thinking of the Buster Douglas Tyson Fury or Buster Douglas Mike Tyson fights, which did end in the 11th round.
That ended in the 10th.
Well, you were right about this fight. It did end into the 10th.
Oh, get out! Anyway,
but I just showed I'm actually a great person because I didn't have to say that. I didn't have to bring that up.
I did. What a great guy.
What a great
guy on camera.
And because I said Wilder's going to win and I was honest, God was going to reward me and make me not a liar about this either. And Wilder will win.
See, I believe in an internal locus of control. And I think that Ortiz has that internal locus of control. I don't think he needs to rely on a ancestor from
the Bronze Bomber.
From the that's gonna help him win.
You know what? I think Wilder is gonna win because I love masks. I love alternative personas.
Is that why you root for KSI?
I don't find them cringy at all. I love when boxers walk out with live performances with rappers and they wear masks.
Absolutely.
He's gonna win for those reasons alone. Ortiz is going to be intimidated with whoever he walks to the ring with.
I don't think when you've lived in a communist country, you're going to be intimidated by just getting knocked out once. I don't know. I think Ortiz has this one, but we'll have to find out. We'll have to see.
I don't think Ortiz has fought good enough competition, honestly.
So I think the only good competition Wilder's fought is Tyson Fury.
Oh yeah, he did fight Ortiz, who wouldn't be considered, an elite heavyweight.
Well, no.
Yes!
I meant to say other than Ortiz.
Oh, okay.
But Tyson Fury arguably fucked up Wilder through the whole entire fight.
He didn't know.
That
verbiage is suspect. He maybe eked out a decision victory.
Eked out?
Arguably.
Eked out. He won
did Tyson Fury
won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got knocked down in the 9th. And so Wilder had that round. But other than Wilder winning the 9th and then winning arguably split decision on the last round because Tyson got up and then fucked Deontay Wilder some more. Deontay Wilder won 1 round in that whole entire fight.
But he won it so well. So well.
No. There's no way. There's no way. Anyway,
I'm picking Wilder.
And I'm picking Ortiz.
So come watch with us that day, guys, and we'll see what actually goes down.
What a heated podcast, though.
Yeah. Too much adrenaline.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do with your hands.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
These are fun. I love where boxing's at right now. It's just too bad the events are run so damn badly. I cannot get excited about it.
Yeah, DAZN needs to do their pacing a lot better.
They really need to pace it. They need to have some actually interesting undercard fights. Dude.
Well, this isn't DAZN. This is Fox.
Oh, that's right. So we're going to be sailing the high seas with this one, baby. I'm just glad.
Sailing the high seas.
I love when there's a UFC event on the same day because you can enjoy the UFC's great pacing and you can just treat the UFC card like it is. The Deontay Wilder fight is the main event for the UFC card for most fight fans. Alistair Overeem, he's the co-main. Whoa, what a great co-main. It's Alistair Overeem versus another ranked heavyweight.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wow, now I feel great about the combat sport
What
events.
fight are you excited for on the UFC card?
I'm actually...
Alistair Overeem.
Well, there might not be one that exists, But
there could be a
there
fight.
might
though.
not be one that exists.
There could be a dogfight like.
I actually think the Calvillo fight will be fun.
Okay.
Like, I know you don't like her, and I don't really enjoy her very much as a personality either, but her fights are fun. She does always bring it. Mickey Gall, that is usually fun too, regardless. Well, like, fun fights don't mean good fights necessarily.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the UFC event will be good this time. I think Uncle Dana, like, this is not a random Brazil card that no one's watching.
That's true.
Like, I think this will do a lot better.
Okay, fair enough.
At least compared to last event, which is a very low bar.
Yeah, last event was terrible.
I mean, I would say I enjoy most UFC cards, just in general. Even if they're, like, usually I end up enjoying the ones with no names on them the most. Because the fighters really bring it to try to make a name for themselves. This last one was such a bad anomaly.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to find out who knocks out who. Because it's definitely going to be a knockout. It's definitely going to be a knockout.
100% a knockout.
Yeah.
I think so. I think so.
All right, we can agree on that.
I think we're going to see Wilder move to 42-0. He's pretty soon going to catch Rocky Marciano's record.
That would be a nice theory. But that's all it is, a
theory. Can you imagine, though, if he does get to 50-0 or 50-0-1?
That would be... And I do think that Wilder could do that if he wasn't fighting Luis for the second time.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Oh, well, who are they going to fight? Who would the winner fight? We'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below. We do a podcast every Wednesday, and we do the live Fight Companion podcast on Saturdays when the events happen. So join us that day. We will see you then. I'm Wesley.
I'm Alex.
And I am always right. So bye.
Later.